insights on importance of dissemination of knowledge and the critical role platforms such as Global SDG7 Hubs can play in cross-learning from collaborations and interventions in different contexts and geographies beyond boundaries. Thank you, sir. I now request Harish Hande, CEO of SELCO Foundation, to share his closing remarks. Over to you, Harish.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Srividya. I know we've been, it's been an honor and overwhelming that we had such a powerful comments from in terms of encouragement from all of us, from all of you here, starting with Upendraji, who actually pushed the concept that we are running out of time. We need to be more serious about of pushing and a wonderful suggestion of having financing as one of the key. And how do we have a bank, and a bank could be of various parts, and Upendraji sir, how do we also replicate many of the wonderful financial innovations that have happened, and you know that one of the first innovations happened in your first constituency of Puttur, where you were the DC when you started your career as the DC of Puttur, and that's where I think we should push those. And Candice, thanks so much for bringing in the concept of as you're been leading so many initiatives on the world that you have with SE for All and other and putting SDG 7 really and bringing out in the map and being one of the founders of the name SDG 7 and pushing it into the sustainable energy as part of the SDGs. I think it would be a great partnership and an honor to work with you to push not only in West Africa, but how do we collaborate? What good things can come from right from Philippines to the Brazil, and make sure that SDG becomes one of the first SDGs to be completed in by 2030. And I think so. Thanks so much for speaking today and giving us that that impetus to work together. Always exciting to come to Sierra Leone and with your blessings and thought processes, I think we really can go fast. Thanks, Richenda, for, you've been involved, together we have been partnering for so many years. We know where your heart lies and where you're pushed. I'm so glad that you're the head of Andy because the concept of local entrepreneurship, which we all have been speaking, how can they be encouraged, and especially in the subcontinent of India and Africa, and that we together push the boundaries in a way where the vernacular speaking entrepreneurs can be encouraged to look at sustainable energy as a critical component that institutionalizes sustainability across these two continents. And I think, Richenda, we know we're not going to leave you, and it's going to be fun with this. Yes, it's a challenge, but it's also going to be fun. And Melissa, thanks for being part of this journey, because Philippines for us it has the highest, what do you call it, as the climate change refugees, getting the battering of all the typhoons. And it's just disheartening to see Philippines battered always, every month. And it's not fair for the poor of the Philippines. And we somehow have to establish that how can sustainable energy and how can we connect to the floods in Ethiopia, to Tanzania, which never had floods, to the floods of Assam, to the Philippines. Can we create solutions so that philanthropic money, capital can actually be used for innovation, so that all the poor of these countries could get solutions as soon as possible? And that's where we see the interconnectivity of everything else. And Munro, thanks for being practical as ever. I think it's something that we should push for together in the next high-level meeting, as you said. And you've always been the voice of caution that such things need to be done faster in a way that is very, very practical. And so glad that you're based out of New York to push these things happen. And thanks so much for getting up early in the morning while Marisa is ready to sleep on the other side of the globe. Gauriji, again, as you, your wisdom clearly shows in the way you speak, your practicality, and we are so glad that you took the experience of being in the Indian Administrative Service and are now in IRENA, which is kind of in Abu Dhabi, which connects the two subcontinents where we have the largest energy poverty in the world between these two continents. And with your connections and with your expertise, how do we make sure that the policy of various countries is geared towards sustainable energy so that we can reach this goal in a more practical manner where poor get the most benefits rather than all the investments and equity. So sustainability is not about sustainable development. It also means inclusive development. And Gauriji, you've been such a champion of it. Akhilesh, see, what can I say? You brought in the whole gamut of the cosmic theory of holistic. I mean, we call it the ecosystem. You brought in the whole concept of cosmic, and because we had this last conversation, and we thought you would be apt. Yeah, well, we didn't want an expert to end it, and we wanted somebody who could bring in the other aspect of what is needed, why is it, and we had all the experts, and you perfectly tied it to why do we need development in the first place. And thank you. And we definitely would like to, as we spoke, that how do we make India as an R&D hub and make sure that the knowledge that we do is a two-way between South America, Africa, India, and Southeast Asia. How can it flow so that that's inclusive development that actually leads to good peace, sustainable peace around in the world. Then finally, I do want to thank some other people, like Village Empowerment, Professor John Duffy, who has been an anchor for us in Boston for keeping it and saying that we could, Village Empowerment has been instrumental in pushing these thought process. I thank Professor Duffy to be that champion who actually taught me why solar is good in 1990 when Gauriji, many of the people that you know were not even born. So I just just to pull their leg here. Thanks to Doen, I know Saskia and Michelle have been great champions of pushing this concept around the world, and Stephanie Johannes has been pushing that it's all about humanity, and it's actually, for us, it started with a great impetus from Sam from Mott Foundation in Tanzania, where we could actually put our feet to show that yes, both the countries could replicate, and that led to the encouragement of Ethiopia, Sierra Leone, and brought in Kande. We brought in the other partners and Doen and GF. So it's kind of a hard task to follow. I know it's great to have a webinar to launch it, but now is the real work that we'll hand it over to Sarah to run it, and we will just keep quiet and watch about it. Thanks so much to our partners who are there from Tanzania, Ethiopia, Nepal, Burkina Faso, and Philippines, because to all of us is a warning and a pleasure to be working together. But now, having December 2020, we are peaking into 2021. We have 9 more years, and we all owe it to the poor of our countries who are subsidizing our living. We are able to do these webinars because the poor are subsidizing us. And it's high time we actually created a level playing field where poor become innovators, entrepreneurs, and hopefully leading to an equitable world. So with that, I would thank everybody all of us for giving the fantastic time for this one. But now is the challenge, and I'm sure we'll not let you down in many ways. And thanks to our team, Srividya, Sripati, and my colleagues in the global hubs, to be Deepak, everybody to have put this together, and the efforts